Hey everyone. Hello, and welcome. Welcome to Q&A with Kerry K. As I switch my phone off, let me know in the comment section. Hey everyone, can you hear me? Is the audio okay? Let me know, where are you from? There's so many people tuning in, and it's beautiful to see all of you. And just the first couple of names that I've recognized there, I know that we've got somebody with us from the Netherlands, and she's a birthday girl. Hey, Inika. Welcome. Happy birthday to you. Hi, Sonia. Hello, Mary, who says hello from Nevada. We've got Kathy from California. Hello, my darling. So good that you're here. And somebody with the name Kristen. I know you, Kristen. Hello, my love. Great to see you. Now I've got my glasses. I can see your comments even more. Hello, Sonia in Dubai. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. So, of course, this is Q&A with Kerry K. And the wonderful thing is that I haven't even read through most of your questions. I've copied and pasted them, and I specifically didn't want to spend time going through the questions, because do you know what happens if I do? If I go through your questions beforehand, I lie in bed and they start churning, the answers start churning, and it's like I can't, there's no off switch. I can't stop the channel from coming when it starts. So I glance. I've got a vague idea about some of them. I glance through the messages, but I don't spend too much time. So we're going to hear the questions together, and we'll see. There are a couple that I have highlighted on my piece of paper that I know that I want to go through. Hello, Roby, Rosie, Dara Smith, also from Nevada. Hey, Dara. Lark. Hello, Lark Allen. Hello, beautiful Celine. Sarah Boyd says hello from Washington. Susan Riley. Hello. Okay, my love. Sorry that I won't be able to say hello to everybody by name, but it is still wonderful just to know that you're here. I'm going to pull up my Q&A now, and I'm going to start with some questions. I took questions that were posted on YouTube. I took questions from Instagram. I took questions from Telegram. So there's 3 spaces where the questions are coming from, and I've just sort of pretty randomly taken questions from everywhere. It's me, Margaret. That's the name of the person that sent me this question. Hello, it's me, Margaret. So it's me, Margaret, has this question. Dear Kerry, there's so much conflicting information about ascension and new earth out there that I don't know what to believe anymore. Margaret, I don't think you're alone. Also, it's so hard to maintain a high vibration when our 3D world is getting denser by the minute. I don't have anyone to talk to about these things, so my mental health is being affected. Thank you so much. Yeah, I hear you. It's hard to maintain a high vibration when our 3D world is getting denser by the minute. So those of you who know me will know this about me, and that is I am not negative. I always see the silver lining. I'm a glass full kind of gal. So I do not see things from a negative perspective. However, when I say what I'm about to say, I want you to know that this is not coming to you from a negative perspective, but what I want to say is real. And that's what I want to bring through in today's Q&A. I want you and I want me, the both of us, to meet in a space of authenticity, where the shields come down, where the rose-colored glasses come off, where there is just truth. It's not positive and it's not negative. That's the beautiful thing about truth. Truth is quite simply truth. It's never good or bad. It's never right or wrong. It is simply what is. And the truth of what is for me to say to you, buckle up, in the sense that it's going to get crazier out there, denser out there. And then a lot of you are going to go, that can't be. You're going to say to me, Kerry, you're being negative, or you might say, that doesn't sound like Kerry, because my language, I always talk to you about heaven on earth. We're here to create heaven on earth. I've said to you before, 2021 is where heaven on earth is birthed. But that is not to say the ride is seamless. That is not to say that the ride is just, all beautiful. We're just going to zip around the corner and screech on the brakes. Look, guys, we've arrived. It's New Earth. It's not going to be like that. In order to get where we're going to go, we're going to walk through what some would call the trenches of hell. Now, that sounds dramatic, but that's pretty much where we are right now if you look at the world. The variable here, however, is your interaction with it. And we're going to talk about that today, about how much relevance you give the darkness, and in so doing, how much you inadvertently amplify the darkness. Because believe it or not, a lot of the people amplifying the darkness are beautiful, good, spiritual, wonderful, loving, but somewhat misguided people. Because they're going in to fight the darkness. They're going into armed combat with the density, which amplifies it, and it makes the reality so real. So to answer the question about, it's getting really dense out there, how do I maintain my frequency? Because a lot of people will ask this question and have asked me the same question. How do I keep a high vibration? How do I raise my vibe? How do I stay high frequency? So the misconception is that that's your job. The misconception is my job is to stay high vibe. My job is to stay high frequency, which means negativity, I'm going to tune you out. I'm not listening. There's only so long you're going to be able to do that for. This is not about raising your vibe. This is not about raising your frequency. This is about you stepping into and aligning with your truth. That's what this is. This thing called ascension, this time in the world right now is about how truthful can you be to yourself, with yourself, in yourself. And whilst you're there, how authentic can you be? How in presence can you be? How much of that truth and that presence that is you can you embody? Can you allow into your body? When you do that, raising your vibe is a natural side effect, but never the goal. Never the goal. So don't make it your goal, because if you do, you're going to need to get a pair of rose-colored glasses. And what that means, you're never going to be able to see the world for how it is, which means you're going to be creating more shadow than you need to. What is shadow? It is simply that which you cannot understand or see or don't want to see or understand. So what if you allowed yourself to cast aside the idea that you're here to be a high vibe being, positively high vibe, positively positive all the time, cheerleader, rah, 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 which gives you an impression that you're always meant to be loving, always meant to be pure, always meant to be perfect, always meant to be, in an unreal space, because you're human, having a human journey. You did not come all the way here to create a facade, to lie to yourself. You came here for the opportunity to walk through that which is untruth as truth. To walk through the world that you're walking through right now, which is a world based on illusion. And whilst you can see the illusion, because that's necessary, and that illusion is going to get bigger, louder, stronger. That's what I meant earlier when I said to you, buckle up, it's going to get worse. It's that illusion is going to, it's kind of like watching a CGI movie, a Hollywood movie, and the best producers have collaborated to create the best CGI effects that look so damn real that you're sitting in your chair and you're going, whoa, look at what's happening. That's the movie that you're in. But the goal of this movie is for you to know that it's a movie, is to not be influenced, to not be swayed, to not be created by the movie, to walk through the untruth as truth, to walk through the unconsciousness as consciousness. That is what you are called to do. So take your focus. Take your focus, if it's there or ever been there, away from how do I be more high vibe? How do I be more high frequency? And understand that which you call high vibe, high frequency, is only a side effect, and a very natural, effortless side effect. You cannot do it. You do not raise your frequency, but you do, and you can, and you are being called to navigate into your truth, to choose, to discern, to feel, where is my truth? And truth is a feeling. Because some of you will say, so what is this thing? What is this thing called truth? And how do I know that I'm there? So many people are finding the navigation of the spiritual path to be this elusive journey. There's nothing elusive about spirituality. There is nothing elusive. The journey that you're on is beautiful, loving. It's pure. So come into it fully, knowing that by seeing what's going on around you, it doesn't take away from your beauty, doesn't take away from your light, doesn't make you low vibe, low frequency. None of those things. It is for you to be truth. Walking through untruth, knowing, oh, that's all that this is. That's all that this is. This is quite simply untruth. And guess what happens? When you notice that something is untruth, when you notice that something is untruth, this is the miracle. This is the miracle moment. It ceases to be real. And suddenly, this is what is meant by piercing the veil. Suddenly you realize, oh my gosh, this is so transparent, this movie. These CGI effects that I thought were really good are not really good at all. I can see straight through the movie and I can see what's real. Then everything changes. Reality changes because now you can see what's real. And guess what happens? You disempower the illusory reality when you see it as illusory, which is why you must see it, which is why the rose-colored glasses must come off, which is why, oh, please hear me when I say this, the reality has no power over you. The dark reality, the dark untruth has no power over you at all, nothing whatsoever. But you must see it as the illusion that it is, so that you can see yourself as the truth that you are and be the truth that you are. Brilliant question. Thank you so much. It's me, Margaret. That was a good question, right? Oh God, you guys are funny. So I'm checking in on the comment section. Comment from Luona says, I took my glasses off, my bra, my deodorant, and my shoes. I love you. I absolutely love you. Hello, Jenny Galbraith, who's also saying hi. Mary and Sandra. Gee, where do you guys know each other from? These are Plasma Patreon tribe members. Hi to you. Hi, Cassie Falkbane. Checking in on the comment section. It's just so beautiful to be able to connect with your energy. I love doing lives. I love being able to connect to the live energy. So let's go on to the next question. Before we do go into the next question, there's actually another part of Margaret's, it's me, Margaret's question that I didn't answer, and it's this. Dear Kerry, there's so much conflicting information about ascension and new earth. I don't know what to believe anymore. Ah, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for saying that, because you speak for so many people when you say that, because look at the contradictions. Look at the contradictions right now. People are telling you there's going to be a two-world split. People are telling you the UFOs are going to come and collect humanity. People are telling you no one's going anywhere. People are telling you there's going to be a cataclysm. People are telling you, oh my gosh, we would need all day to run through all the contradictions of what you're hearing right now. And you're hearing all of those contradictions for such a powerful, important reason. So that you can learn to listen to yourself. So that you can learn to be, that's better. So that you can learn to be your own voice of reason. The one who navigates your path was always meant to be you. It cannot be another. It must not, it may not be another. And if you allow that to be, if you allow a guide to lead you in such a way that you're not leading yourself, if you allow for that to happen, you are going to create a negative karma for both of you that will very negatively affect you and impede your ascension journey. Because the goal of ascension is not, oh, I need to choose the right teacher to listen to. That is not what ascension is. Ascension is, I need to find my inner wisdom. And by all means, gravitate to a teacher who will lead you there. Gravitate to the one who will lead you to you, but not to them, not to their truth, not to their wisdom, to your own. This is absolutely imperative. And until that happens, you are going to be buried beneath a minefield of contradictions. And then you're going to go, oh, okay. So I've now listened to this teacher who's laid it all out for me. Phew, I finally understand. You're going to have that moment, right? And you're going to go, okay, so I can put all the other thoughts and all the other questions to rest, because this teacher has told me this is how it's going to be. And guess what's going to happen? Guess what's going to happen? It might be a day later, a week later, but just as soon as you think you've got it all figured out based on somebody else navigating your path for you and telling you how it's going to be and giving somebody else the power to soothe you, the contradictions are going to rise up again. The contradictions are going to start rising. The contradictions must be there, because everything right now will lead you to you, even if it's pain, even if it's contradiction, even if it's difficulty. Right, we're going to go to Maggie from Taiwan. Love your question, Maggie from Taiwan. So this was also a question on YouTube, and Maggie from Taiwan says, I want to ask why Earth splits into 5D and 4D. Whoopsie. Did the Earth choose to split into 4D and 5D, and when is this going to happen? So it's not splitting into 4D, and the Earth isn't splitting. There are so many people who talk about bifurcation. They talk about this idea of the world splitting, and I used to as well. But here's what you need to know about the bifurcation. How I describe this is how I always, and I've been doing this since a very long time, somewhere in the 1990s, and somewhere back there in the 1990s already, I had the marshmallow. That was how I explained bifurcation. I said to people, it's like a marshmallow, and you know how a marshmallow is nice and sort of spongy, squishy in the middle, and you pinch the two sides of the marshmallow and you pull it apart. And when that happens, when you pull the marshmallow apart, you've got two seemingly whole marshmallows. So you're going to have old world and new world. Guess what? We've done that. That which you are thinking as a two-world split or a bifurcation, or somehow there's an old Earth and a new Earth, that's done. We've navigated that territory. And where we are now is in a space of only one, what many people call a timeline. And a timeline is essentially a reality. So when you hear people talk about, oh, this timeline is, going here and that timeline is going there, all these different timelines. Yeah, we used to have so many different timelines. We don't have so many different timelines anymore. We've got one. So what we have now is everything dovetailing into one stream of consciousness. But then I know a lot of you are going to go, that can't be, Kerry, that can't be. Have you looked at the world? Yes, I have. It's kind of crazy out there. But you're going to say to me, that can't be, because there are those people on the planet right now who are just so loving and pure, and there are those people who are just so corrupt and impure. How can they occupy the same space? And if we do, then we're doomed, We're doomed because the bad guys are winning. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about this idea of the two world split. And I want to share with you a point of view. And I want you to find your own. And I want you to feel what your truth is, because that's what truth is. Truth is a feeling. It is not my words. It is not the words of another, ever. It is your feeling. It is your, that, what we call resonance, that feels like resonance for me. So this place that we call, that is so often spoken about, called New Earth, I've also called it heaven. And the reason I call it heaven is because it's the literal reconnect with your heaven. It's the literal reconnect with your divine blueprint. New Earth is not a place outside of where we are right now. You are on the timeline. If you're alive on planet Earth right now, and you're listening to these words, you are on one congealed timeline in which there are two concurrent realities. The one reality, which is the dominant reality, which is where this timeline goes, which is the outcome of this timeline, the trajectory of this timeline, the essence of this timeline. It is made up of an energy called truth. And in this timeline, there is a secondary energy that runs through this timeline. So you could call that another frequency in the same timeline, which is totally divergent to the truth, totally divergent. And what it is, quite simply put, is untruth. It is all that is illusory. It is all that is lies. It is all that is false promises and darkness and propagandas and coercions. It is all based on, hey, humanity, here's something that's really good for you. I'm going to call it a medicine, and I'm going to give it to you, and I'm going to tell you you've got to take this medicine now. Go ahead, do it, because when you do, I'll call you a good boy, I'll call you a good girl, and you can carry on as normal. There's all of these false promises being dangled. Now, the question is, how is it that so many people never had the semantics explained to them about all of the false promises that you see in the world around you, about certain dread diseases and so forth that you see in the world around you? How is it that some people just knew the truth? They just knew. They didn't need anyone to explain it to them. They didn't need any verifications and proofs. And how is it that people who have had no access to the internet to research this for themselves still know, I don't believe that stuff. It's not true. It's an illusion. It's a lie. It's a demonic force. I've had people say that to me. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm saying this is what some people have said to me. Rural people. For those of you that don't know, I live in South Africa, so I have an opportunity to connect with some people who still don't have running water, who still don't have electricity, who still don't have Wi-Fi and an internet signal. And when they do, it's very, few and far between. How is it that these people just knew? They just knew, that's an agenda. And their words to me were, this is a demonic force. So my question again is, how is it that some people just knew this without anybody telling them? Because they were already switched on and able to do what you can do, and that is to use your body as the barometer, because that's what your body is. The barometer that can tune into something and go, whoa, that's truth, resonance, got it. And whoa, that's not truth. Total disharmony, total non-cohesive, non-coherent vibrational frequency. Okay, that's not my truth. I'm going to gravitate to where my truth is. That's what people have been doing since the onset of this huge propaganda machine. So the reason that people can do that is because that ability to navigate truth is what has drawn you to this timeline. The timeline that you're on is already the timeline you want to be on. It is already where you wish to be. And I know a lot of you are going to say, no, Kerry, you're mistaken. This is not where I wish to be. This is absolutely not where I wish to be. Remember that we are here to witness the collapse of the untruth. We are here to witness the collapse of the untruth. It's going to be messy, maybe even a little bit scary, challenging, certainly revolutionary, absolutely life-changing. Yeah, that's what you're doing. So as you navigate this timeline, I want you to know that there isn't this split that many people are looking for. No matter how you might see the split in terms of, and the polarization in terms of people's thinking right now, and it's so clear. There are those in harmony with truth and those in harmony with untruth. Let me paint a picture for you. This is the picture that the Galactics gave to me when I brought this to them to ask for their input, because I often do that with the Galactics. I ask them, how would you explain this? How would you bring this through to people? And one of the beautiful things that they've shared with me is this picture of a very vast passageway is filled with white glowing light. So imagine a tunnel, and it's so wide, and it's so white, and it's so bright, and it's so pure. But as you look at this passageway, which is the timeline, as you look at this passageway, your attention gets drawn to a little black part of the timeline, and you can see that it extends through a certain portion of this white light, this black interference pattern that runs concurrently and inside of this white light, this tunnel of white light. It's this big. It's this big. You're in a tunnel like this. It is wide, bright, pure, and vast. What's going to happen when your focus is here? When your focus is on this little black speck and you are wanting to fight this black speck, and you're saying, listen, I can't be here in this tunnel of white light. I can't be here because you're occupying the same space. Does that even make sense? When you start to see your reality for what it is, not for the black speck, which is what you're seeing when you watch mainstream media, when you see the truth versus the untruth. The truth versus the untruth. It is, and I do this with my hand because it's this long, it's like a long black tunnel. But guess what happens? It dovetails, it gets lighter, almost gray, transparent, and it dissolves. If you look down that timeline, that black speck, black tunnel within a tunnel, it dissolves. And why does it dissolve? Because finally, with our true vision, we see it for what it is, which is everything untrue. It is the illusion. It is the illusion. And it is the reason why you have not been able to see heaven, even though you live in it. Even though you live in it. Even though you live in it. Because that which I'm describing as this tunnel of white light with a little black speck in it is also inside of you. It is also inside of you. And where your focus has been is all of your imperfections, all of your I'm not good enough-nesses, all of your memories of trauma. That's where you've gravitated because the world taught you to do that. The world taught you to tune in to everything that was untrue. And so you did. You tuned in to everything that was untrue. And you said, oh, look, this is my reality. This little black tunnel, this speck, this is my reality. You learned to narrow your focus and to see this and call it real. And then you lost the eyes to see, or you lost the vision, you lost the ability to see that which was always true. So what ascension is the restoration of your vision, or it is the return of truth. And the embodiment of truth, your ability to see, this is in fact the reality that I'm in. Okay, that makes more sense now. So share with me in the comment section, how does this sit and how does this feel? I'd love to hear from you. And share with me also something that I'm curious to know, of those of you who are listening, who here is doing the 21-day conscious breath series? For those of you that don't know, I released a couple of days ago on YouTube, 21 days conscious breath. You can go ahead and listen to that. It's a 10-minute intro, and I think about a 12, 13-minute breathing exercise, and you do it every day for 21 days. And this tool I've given you because so many people have asked me for that. My website is filled with so many different tools for you to use. But I wanted to put one on YouTube because not a lot of people realize that you can go to my website and you can find a whole host of really profound support tools. But one of them is now on YouTube. So go ahead and look for that 21 days of conscious breath, because it's really going to connect you to your truth, your stillness, your voice, your wisdom, your inner teacher, your body, your consciousness. Because for the longest time, we've been tutored to connect to the consciousness of so-called wise ones outside of us, these teachers outside of us. And they've served a very important role. I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm saying I'm grateful to them. They served a very powerful, important role because they held the light for you until you could step into it yourself. But they're done. Their time is done. This is a new era. You are stepping into the new era, even if you don't know it, even if you can't see it. Good. Angela Langley says, I'm doing 21 days conscious breath. Really amazing. I'm so glad. Okay. Mary, I intended to, and then I forgot. Thanks for the reminder. Yeah, go and check it out. Me. That's from Sandra. Hello, my Sandra. Good. All right. So let's go back to the questions. Good question. This one is from, I was going to read another one from YouTube. Let me swap over to Instagram. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, on Instagram, I am Kerry K is my handle. I am Kerry K. That's how you find me on Instagram. So let's see. Oh, where did I put them? I had some questions. Telegram, no. Instagram. So a question from Linda Murray on Instagram says, "Hi, Kerry. I'm newly spiritually awakened and viewing the world with brand new eyes. It's amazing." Yeah, it is, right? Thank you for coming into my soul journey. Thank you, thank you. I'd like to know if the powers that be, ... controlling what's happening in the world right now. This is why I highlighted this one, Linda. Is a good question. If they are aware of the mass spiritual awakening that's taking place, and if so, do you think they feel threatened by us? And thank you. So, awesome question. Think about this for a moment. Think about why it is that such extreme measures have to be put in place as an attempt to control humanity. Because humanity is doing the most frustrating, unexpected thing to those who were once the powers. Please remember who they are. They are the speck of darkness. They are the speck of darkness in this beautiful tunnel of brilliant white light. We are the ones who need to do the work. The work is not to fight the darkness, but to see the light, embody the light, and be the light. And there are many who are doing this. There are many who are doing this. And because they are doing this, they are able to shift the entire collective into a higher state of consciousness, into higher awareness. What they're doing is they are expanding your vision, which is why people like Linda Murray say, "Oh, I'm just newly awakened." Where did that come from? That came from all of these beings who for the longest time have been silent, working in the background. Most of them still are silent. The very powerful ones, the real influencers in terms of what's going on with consciousness on the planet right now, most of them, not all, most of them are very silent. Some of us are being called to speak. Most are very silent because they are powerfully carrying out their work where they can be powerful, away from social media, away from platforms where they have to interact too much with people, because their only focus is to hold the truth, hold the truth, hold the truth, hold the truth, see the truth, be the truth. That's what they're doing. And in so doing, some stranger who you've never met, who you will never meet, whose name you will never know, has just woken up from a little nap in a rice paddy in Vietnam somewhere, I don't know. And they're going, wait a minute, I don't think the world is what I've been told it is. Wait a minute, I'm starting to see things differently. Why didn't I think of this before? And suddenly the lights are coming on for them. That is a direct result of, number one, the planet ascending, and number two, humanity supporting that ascension by embodiment. So the question, are we having an impact? And do they, the powers that were, they're not the powers that be, they're the powers that were, do they know? Yes, they know. And my gosh, I cannot tell you the thorn in their side that humanity, this portion of humanity is, because they cannot predict what we're going to do next. Have you ever wondered? Have you ever wondered, why is it that there is so much unknown? Why is it that there is so much that we don't know how it's going to play out? Is there going to be a solar flash? When is there going to be a solar flash? Is the solar flash going to hit Earth? How are we going to be affected? All of these questions are sitting in front of us because we are literally navigating the unknown. We, conscious ones, are the anomaly that keeps changing the rules. So every time these old powers think, oh, I'm in charge, because in their arrogance and in their illusion, they really do believe that. In their arrogance and in their delusion, they really do believe that although they contain only this little speck, they believe that they're in charge and can navigate the entire timeline and prevent their own demise. They believe that because they believe they've got everyone's attention. That's their game. Keep looking here, keep focusing here, narrow your vision. That's their game. We're changing the rules of the game and we're going, wow, look at who else I am. Look at what else there is. Look at where else we are. Let's start embodying heaven on earth, knowing that that's going to make things look crazier, but let's do it anyway because that's what we came to do. When we do that, we absolutely shift the dynamics of this reality. We absolutely shift them. We are essentially shaking up the reality. And by focusing on the light, guess what happens? That which was dark gets thinner and more transparent. And the more transparent darkness becomes, the more it ceases to be. The more irrelevant it becomes, the more it ceases to be. How do we make darkness irrelevant? We don't look at darkness and say, I'm going to make you irrelevant. We look at the light and we say, I'm going to make you relevant. I'm going to make you my relevance. I'm going to make you my point of focus because, by God, you're beautiful. And I am that beauty, and you are that beauty, and we are that beauty. And we just forgot. That's all. We simply forgot. And now we're remembering. Right. You're amazing too, Joan Plant. Thank you, darling. So I'm going to go to Telegram now to one of the messages that were one of the questions, I should say. Okay, this had to come, right? Yeah, it had to come. So please understand that I would like to keep my channel on air because that's right now how I'm reaching you. There will be a time where we won't need this. There will be a time where we won't need a medium between us. We won't need a screen between us. Right now we do. That's how I'm able to speak to your heart right now. So for the duration of that time, my channel needs to be up. Therefore, there are certain phrases and words, obviously, to be mindful of. So, Mary. Thanks, Mary. Great question. There's conflicting info about people who got the thingy-majobby. And I really do say that, by the way. I really do in my everyday life. If I'm looking for something, the darndest words evade me sometimes. It could be as simple as, where's my pen? This becomes a thingy-majobby. Sometimes it's a doodle-magafter as well. It's a thingy-majobby doodle-magafter. So that thingy-majobby doodle-magafter, there's conflicting info about people who get that thing not being able to ascend because now their DNA is mutated. So let me just start there. So not having read the rest of Mary's question, because there's 2 paragraphs here. Not having read the rest of Mary's question, I just want to start with that because that's an important piece of information. And I know what Mary's saying because there's a question mark there, you know. Is this true? Are those people going to be able to ascend or not? People who are ascending are people who are walking truth. They are the embodiments of truth. They can see truth. They gravitate to truth. They can see the illusion. And because they can see the illusion, they do not put illusions into their body. Because they go, that is what I am not. So it doesn't make sense. to put what I am not into my body. And then there's a mindset that says, oh, but I'll transmute that, which is the same mindset that says, I'm just going to smoke a cigarette. I'm just going to drink a beer. I'm just going to, I don't know, take a recreational drug. I'm just going to do these things which are untruth and harmful to my body. And then I'm going to be spiritual. I'm going to say, I'm going to override the effects of these things. That's highly irresponsible. That's highly irresponsible. And the reason why that's irresponsible is because right now you navigate a path that is truth or untruth. Which one are you walking? Which one are you choosing? It is not about right and wrong. It is not about good and bad. It is not about you must do this and you mustn't do that. It is simply, what are you aligned to? And that is a path that does not deviate. You don't get to say, I'm walking a path of truth, but every now and then I take pieces of untruth and I kind of weave them into my path, but the way in which I'm weaving them into my path is going to create more untruth for me. So that doesn't work. And those who walk a path of truth know this. Therefore, there is no debate. So they're not going to make their lives easier. They're not going to be coerced. They're not going to. Their choice is so clear. It is resolute. It is simple. For those who are having the should I, shouldn't I's, what they're really saying is, am I walking a path of truth or untruth? That's what it is. So those who are walking ascension already know their path and have enacted to follow their path. There will be exceptions here. There will be exceptions here, but the majority of people who've already elected to take such substances as the thingy-majobby doodle-magafter that I'm talking about, yeah, they're most likely taking themselves out of the ascension timeline. They're walking as far as they came to, or as far as they can, or as far as they want to. That's not right or wrong, good or bad. That's their choice. Those who choose to align with truth keep walking the path of truth. So does that mean that there'll be a lot of people leaving the planet? Yes, likely. It's likely. There are no absolutes, but it is likely. So what if you're sitting here and you're going, oh no, I made a mistake, because I made certain decisions. Well, if you made certain decisions, remember, for you, it's even more important to navigate to your truth and to be uncompromising in your truth, to not be compromised. So I know that there's going to be people who say, oh, but, that's easy for you to say, Kerry, because I could be unemployed as a result of walking my truth. I could be unemployed. Okay, those who are walking truth and they are aligned to that truth, they know that the job is irrelevant. They know the old reality is crumbling. And if they're being shoved out of the old reality, they're welcoming it and they're going, okay, so be it. So be it. Yeah. Also, is New Earth somewhere else? Oh, okay, so we've answered that. Is New Earth somewhere else? Do we have to be evacuated because Gaia is dying? Gaia is not dying. She is living. Mary says, I've heard from various QHHT practitioners that many people will go to a different planet, evacuated, blah, blah, blah. Stop right there. That is what I was talking about earlier. With all the conflicting information, there's people saying this and there's people saying that. Stop listening to all the external noise because it is set up to distract you. It is a test. It is set up to distract you. Using your body as an instrument or a barometer that can tune in and feel, oh, this feels comfortable. Ooh, that feels uncomfortable. Now truth versus untruth. How do I discern which it is? Comfortable versus uncomfortable. Aligned versus not aligned. Do you see? It's not a big emotional charge. It's not, oh, you're lying to me, you're bad. It's not that. It is not that. It is respectful. It is honoring. It is realizing, oh, I am simply not aligned to that truth. with honor and with respect. I thank you for presenting it to me. However, this is where I am drawn. And now is the time to be drawn by your instrument, by your navigational instrument. So you see the importance of being able to tune in to your inner barometer, to that ability that you have, that cosmic gift that you have, that sets humans apart, that is the reason why you align to truth without anyone explaining it to you. And you know the converse is true as well, right? You know that the converse is true, where I know a lot of you are going to say to me, Kerry, I don't get it. I don't get how my family, my friends, my whoever it is, can be so conned. I don't know how it's possible for them to not see what is obvious. I promise you it's possible. It's possible because they're navigating into that dark tunnel, which is untruth. And they're aligned to it, and they can see it so clearly. But that greater reality, which is that white light, that tunnel of vibrant white light, they cannot see it. Their body isn't attuned to truth. They don't have the instrument. Therefore, they cannot see what you can see. So for those who can see both realities, the truth and the untruth, learn to unplug yourself to such an extent that, oh, and this is so important, that you tune into yourself first and foremost. This is your holy grail, your body. This, and tuning into this holy grail, is your fundamental step to move forward. Because some people in some of these questions have said to me, how do I move forward? I can't move forward. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know how to get there. I'm stuck. I can't navigate. Stop and connect here. That's what most people are missing. There's a fundamental connection to self that most people are missing. That fundamental connection to self, when it comes online, meaning when you connect to the body, which also means, listen to this, because this is pretty mind-blowing. For those who have the ears to hear it, this is pretty mind-blowing. When you connect to the body, you will inhabit your body for the first time. And you will realize that up until you occupied that space, it was vacant. And what is meant by that, by it was vacant, is it was under the control of malevolence. It was under the control of those once powers that are no longer in power. And there were moments of you and moments of that control, moments of you, moments of that control. You would have flitted in and out of your body, but you weren't at home. You weren't occupying it. It wasn't your everyday space. It wasn't your full-time residence. Now it becomes your full-time residence. And as it does, as you inhabit the body, for many of you for the first time, as truth, as your own truth inhabiting your body, when that happens, it's like a film is lifted off of your eyes and you can see clearly. So for those of you who think, oh, I'm already awake, for those of you who think, I can see reality, I can see the illusion, and I can see the truth, wait until you inhabit the body more fully as truth, which requires the fundamental connection to the body, first and foremost. 21 days of conscious breath. In case you ask me, how do I do that? It's one great tool. There are many great tools. That's one of them. So as you allow yourself to step into your body, many of you for the first time, as truth, stepping into your body, the most profound thing happens. You disempower all of the other realities. In other words, they simply cease to be. And here's what I really want you to know. I want you to know that there is no passageway between truth and untruth. There are no steps Between the two, there is no bridge that connects them. There is illusion, which is untruth. There is illusion, and there is truth. And you are in one or the other right now. And yes, you conflict, but that has become impossibly hard. That has become impossibly difficult. As time, you used to be able to do this quite seamlessly just a year or two ago. As of 2021, this is, I can't say impossible, I can say virtually impossible to do. The in, out, which is kind of like the flip-flopping between consciousness and unconsciousness. That's becoming so difficult to do. So now it is about, where am I aligned? What is my truth? Who am I really? What do I represent? What is my presence in this moment? And your ability to tune into it and to connect to it, that's everything. That is everything you need right now. Do you need a job? Do you need to make the illusion bigger by compromising yourself somehow? No, absolutely not. What you need is that fundamental connection to self. Without that, this is a very difficult journey because you've got nothing to build upon. That connection to self is the foundation upon which you build the reality that you're about to co-create and walk through. And as you co-create and walk through that reality, you're going to realize, oh my God, I'm so supported. I am so held in light, in love. There is no failing. You're going to realize there is no failing because there is no test. There is only, could I remember who I was in all of this illusion? And in this moment, your ability to remember who you are is being switched on. Even more, even deeper than ever before. So can you ascend? You are ascending. If you've listened to this conversation from the beginning to now, it's only been an hour, or just over an hour. But what's happened with time in this hour is phenomenal. This 1 hour has been stretched, so it could feel like a couple of days. So if you're watching this and you needed to pause and come back and pause and come back and pause and come back, you now know why. And you were being flooded with light for the duration of this conversation, and so was I. And as that flooding occurred, you were coming into more and more remembrance. This is who I am. This is who I am. Not because Kerry said so, because I know so, because I feel it, because I can tune into the Holy Grail. Right? So, may this be supportive to you. I love you all so much. I've had fun. I've really had fun, and I want to know if you've enjoyed this, because I've really enjoyed myself. I've totally enjoyed connecting with all of you, and I think we should do this more often. I think this should be a weekly event, or at least a couple times a month. This is really beautiful and fun to connect to. Mary Freed, Mary says, Mary, you know I love your surname, right? I told Mary in an email, I love Mary Freed. What better surname? Is the stability series on your website? Yes, it is. So for those of you that want to know some other tools, thank you, Mary, for reminding me. I said to you, the 21 days of conscious breath is a really great tool for you to use to get you into presence and connection. Cannot tell you how important that connection is. Stability is a series that I did. It's available on my website. So you go to kerryk.net, Kerryk, kerryk.net, and you click on shop, and you page down, you're going to see there's a trilogy series called Stability. Just a hint, go to, on my website, there's a little secret button called discounts. I think it's called special offers and discounts, something like that. It's a little circle as you go to the top of the shop page. Most people don't see it. Go there, click there, because the Stability series is on special where you pay for 2 and you get the 3rd one for free. You can buy them all separately, or if you want to buy it as a package, you can. But of course, please don't buy it if you are in my Patreon community. Patreon people, it's absolutely free for you. For you to claim the Stability series, you need to go to my rewards page. Go to the rewards page, look down until you see Stability, click on it, and you'll be directed to a coupon. So everybody, I hope that you have enjoyed this. Join me if you are called. And I know that many of you are. If you're called to deepen that connection to self, I'll see you in my Plasma Patreon community. Don't join me in the crystal tier because I'm busy unpublishing that tier. I'm only going to have one tier moving forward, and that is the Plasma Patreon tier, because it's the only place to be. That is where the real growth is happening. We are being called to elevate our consciousness. For those who are available to that call, we are being called right now. We were born for this. And I think most of you know that you have been called into your purpose, whatever that looks like for you, whatever that looks like for you, you are called. This is it. This is your time. For those of you walking around pretending like everything is normal, stop. You're doing yourself the greatest disservice you could ever. It is time for you to understand, oh, the world really has changed. Disclosure, which is you, by the way, disclosure, which is you realizing who you actually are. That's what disclosure is. And yes, there are many other forms disclosure can take, but that's what it takes. It doesn't take somebody on a podium with a microphone saying, hey, world, listen, sorry, you've been duped. Everything we taught you was a lie. That's not what disclosure is. And that's not what empowers disclosure. Disclosure is driven by humanity realizing who they are. When that happens, yes, then the dude with the microphone can get up and say, hey, and by the way, we sort of lied about your history and spirituality and geography and a whole lot of things, but, and no, the earth isn't flat, but there you go. So everybody, it's been beautiful to tune in. I will be speaking to my Plasma Patreon community this Friday. Get ready. We're having another Q&A session specially for you guys to get your questions ready for me for this Friday. And everybody else, I'll speak to you really soon. Lots and lots of love. Mwah, 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 from my heart to yours.